I've been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. This is a quote by Leonardo da Vinci. Some of the sources I used for my presentation: Brainy Quote, a book from the A&M Library, Leonardo's Universe, Wikipedia, an interview with Joshua Bullard, most.org, a biography page about Leonardo da Vinci, and about.com. I'm here to pay tribute to Leonardo da Vinci because of his contributions to society today, some of the obstacles he has overcome, and to share some of his lesser-known accomplishments. Life is pretty simple. You do some stuff, most fails, some works, you do more of what works. If it works big, others quickly copy it. Then you do something else. The trick is doing something else. Leonardo da Vinci overcame many challenges that would have prevented most people from the period from becoming successful. He was an illegitimate son of a peasant girl and a rich young notary. His mother soon remarried and left after his birth, and he grew up in his father's home in Florence, Italy. He later on left for an apprenticeship working under a famous artist. This helped young Leonardo perfect his skills as an artist, sculptor, and musician. Although he was physically strong, he was also very well groomed and liked to dress in very colorful, extravagant clothes. That was not considered the social norm of the time for an artisan, and it was looked down upon in public. And this guy on the left, he's considered a dandy. And Leonardo was considered a dandy, which is kind of like faggot.
A gay guy?
Sort of. Leonardo always aimed to increase the firepower of weapons he worked on and to maximize their overall destructive capacity. He did this for both his patrons' benefit in having superior firepower compared to his rivals, and for his own personal intellectual curiosity. He was a very talented man whose view of the world was logical and harmonial, which led to his love of inventions. Leonardo was an Italian polymath, which is a very knowledgeable person, with professional interests as a painter, sculptor, architect, musician, scientist, mathematician, engineer, inventor, anatomist, geologist, cartographer, botanist, and a writer.
My goodness. Wow. He was dumb.
Really smart guy. Skipped. This machine this machine consists of 11 barrels in each of the 3 tiers into which projectiles will be loaded. It's kind of like a machine gun. The aim of the tiers is that in rotation, the first tier is fired while the second tier can be loaded. This allows for the third tier to cool down before it in turn in the rotation to be loaded and fired again. Leonardo had intentionally placed the gears for this tank in reverse order, which makes the tank unworkable in his pictures. Because there's been people that have tried to make it before and they fail because they can't figure out the gears. Leonardo placed the misinformation in his design as a form of security if somebody stole his design and used the tank irresponsibly, to be offered to potential soldiers as a means of breaking enemy lines in war and minimize the number of casualties for the side that's using the tank. Leonardo da Vinci was like a man who awoke too early in the darkness, while the others were all still asleep. This is a quote by Sigmund Freud. Leonardo made many contributions to his society, and even today many of his works and inventions are either used or displayed today. Like this is a ball bearing that he created. He exerted himself to find ingenious techniques of reducing friction. Here, 8 concave side-sided spindles rotating on their own axis prevent lateral movements by the balls, which however can rotate freely. The spear and spindle system reduces friction, allowing the top platform to turn easily even when they're carrying a very heavy load. This is a picture of Mona Lisa, one of his creations. Among the works created by Leonardo in the 1500s is a small portrait known as the Mona Lisa, or La Gioconda. the laughing one. In the present era, it was arguably the most famous painting in the world. Its fame rests in particular on the elusive smile of the woman's face, its mysterious quality brought about perhaps by the fact that the artist has subtly shadowed the corners of her mouth and eyes so that the exact nature of the smile cannot be determined. The shadow quality for which the work is renowned for can be called sfumato, or Leonardo's smoke. Vasari, who took Leonardo under him as an apprentice when he was younger, said that the smile was so pleasing that it seemed divine rather than human, and those who saw it were amazed to find that it was alive as the original. It has long since come to my attention that people of the accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. Leonardo da Vinci deserves tribute because he overcame many obstacles to become one of the greats in our history books. He invented many things, and some of his lesser-known inventions are actually still used today. And he also created many amazing works of art that inspire many today, and created many inventions that our modern society wouldn't be able to function without. I love those who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but those whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct or pursue their principles into death.
You can't say faggot in your presence.
No.
You have to do it over.